working, hybrid working. What are some of the advantages to it? What are some of the challenges that need to be overcome? And what we love doing isn't just playing a game, but it's actually creating a place for conversations to happen. We believe that people need to have conversations. And so what we use the games for is really a launching pad or a diving board into hopefully dynamic conversations. Quite a few people are still joining in here. Let me kind of close out some of these pop-ups that have jumped up. Meeting is being recorded. Got it. All right. Live stream. Got it. What we're going to do is open up a browser on your web page, on a phone, a laptop, or a mobile, whatever works best for you. And we're going to go into our game. The experience is all held on an application that has been created, specifically designed for this game. And it's going to allow you to really play the game, to engage with each other. And so what I need you to do is I'm going to just share my screen for just a moment here. And that will give you the code as well as the web page to go to. So I'm going to jump up here, share my screen, and you should see here at the top of my screen, it'll say go to asobi.mobi and use the code ISAGA. If you would just open up your phones, you can jump onto either a phone or a web browser in some device and type in asobi.mobi, and it'll ask you for a code. Just put in ISAGA, ISAGA. We're going to give people a moment to kind of jump on there. Go ahead, log in, and as you do, it may ask for your name, and you can put that in. And as we get all of the participants together, then we're going to be, wow, all right. More people are just coming in very quickly now, very quickly. So, all right, for those of you who are new, welcome to this event, to this experience, part of the ISAGA program. This is going to give you an experience of one of the games that have been created by Pracovní Gier. And the purpose of the game is to really launch people into discussions really around the power of hybrid working and the challenges that we experience really around the globe. We have more and more companies who are coming, asking for help, for guidance, and for just team building experiences. And so this is one of our answers to that. So as you jump on, you're going to notice on my screen that I'm sharing now, go to asobi, asobi.mobi, and then use the code ISAGA to log into the gaming experience. As I've mentioned, more than a gaming experience. It's really just a way for us all to connect, to talk, and to learn from one another. All right, as you come in, you can see that people are already putting in their names. And if you could, once you get over to that asobi.mobi, use the code ISAGA. Allow me to once again just kind of reintroduce our team for some of those who have just joined in. My name is Nate, and I've been working with Pracovní Gier Školeňovic for about 10 years now, a little over 10 years. And over the last year and a half, we've really transitioned many of our games online to create online team building experiences. Kind of the brains behind our business is Jagoda, who you can see there on the screen, as well as Joanna. She's also with us today. And the technical assistant who's going to make sure that the game really runs smoothly. And if you have any questions or are having any challenges, you can reach out to Tomek. And Tomek is here just to kind of help navigate and make sure things go smoothly. So as you jump on here, you're going to notice I'm sharing my screen. Please open up either an iPad or a phone, a smartphone, or a web browser, and just go to asobi.mobi and use the code ISAGA, I-S-A-G-A. And when you get there, type in your name. It'll have a space for you to do that. And that'll give us kind of the list of participants as we get ready to play.
Actually good that you chose the code ISAGA and not my second name.
Yeah, we were really debating on that. That was one of the big questions as a team. What code do we use? You go to second name or ISAGA? All right, well, here we go. So when we started this event at 6 o'clock, I think we had about 4 people on the call. At 6:13, we've got 38. So we've really grown this group. So I know that some of you have joined in, you're just joining in, and we're gonna really get started into that gaming experience. I'm gonna actually start it at 6:15. I'm gonna give us 2 more minutes, and then we're just gonna start moving on. So please, as you've jumped in, I noticed that we've got about 6 who have logged in to asobi.mobi and have used the code ISAGA. In order for this gaming experience to work, I need all of you to be able to jump on, go to asobi.mobi using either your smartphone, and then type in that code ISAGA, and then just give us your name, a way to recognize you. Okay, we've got 7 who have kind of joined in here. I've got 7 on the ISAGA, and I've got 44 participants on Zoom. So that means there's a handful who haven't actually jumped onto asobi.mobi yet, and that's the most important part of this. You can listen to me talk, but that's going to get boring after a while. So really the experience is on Asobi. Go ahead, jump onto your mobile phone or an iPad, a laptop, a tablet, open up a web browser, go to asobi.mobi and use that code ISAGA right there.
If any one of you knows that you will not play the game, write on the chat maybe that you are just in the listening mode and you will not join, because we assume that you want to join. We are waiting for you, but if you know you are not going to join, just write us, then we know how many people to expect.
You can direct those right to Tomasz. So you'll see Tomasz Kulawik. Next to his name is PGS. He's kind of our technical assistant who is making sure everybody's in the right groups and making sure the experience goes smoothly.
Yeah. I'm getting some information that the last days of the conference are showing that not everybody is joining, because people are very often only listening. So that's for you, a note, Nate, that I just received information.
All right, we've got quite a few new people who have joined, as you might be able to see coming in here. So let me just encourage you. I know that some of you have maybe mentioned that you're not playing, just listening. If I can encourage you to jump in and play, I'll do that, because it's going to be a lot more fun than listening. But you can do that by going to asobi.mobi using that code ISAGA. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of advance our slide. Once you get in, you're going to still be able to see that asobi.mobi login, so you can log in at any time. And we're going to go ahead and start moving along. If you're into asobi.mobi, here's what I want you to do is just kind of give us a heads up. Let us know how you're doing today. We're going to run you through a gaming experience that we've done with global companies around the world. So what we want to do is just kind of encourage you to experience it as we deliver it, really to companies and teams that are working remotely. Once again, as those of you who have joined in, asobi.mobi, use the code ISAGA, and just let us know how you're feeling today. We got some people who are feeling pretty cool. I'm going to go with cool on that. All right. This will be a little bit more interactive, perhaps, in some of the other sessions. And so we're going to get you into some breakout rooms. We're going to do some discussions and connecting. If at any time you get kicked off, just feel free to jump back in. And you can do that right here at asobi.mobi, and using that code again, just jump in and we're going to move right along here. All right, so here's my question for you. When you're playing a game, what are your goals? What is the goals that you have when playing? And you're going to see a couple of options there on your phone. To win, to do my best, to have fun, to learn, get to know each other, to draw, to have impact, or to manage. What would you say is kind of your goals for playing games? All right, so here's comes some of our responses. Manage to the end, get to know others, learn, to have fun. Lots of different reasons. One of the things that we love about working with this event here is that you are passionate about games, just like we are. We absolutely love not just the playing of games, but really what they can do for teams, bringing people together to have fun, to learn from each other, getting to know others, and yes, to manage until the end. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Again, if you have just logged in, right up at the top, asobi.mobi, using that code ISAGA. The game that we're going to pull you into today is a simple game called The Collectors. The Collectors game, it's a fun, dynamic experience built around some of the time pressures that we feel. It's built around working in silos and working as a smaller team, but yet still being a part of something bigger. And so what we want to do is just kind of prep you. We're going to give you some instructions in a little bit. But one of the things that you're going to have to do is get used to working in smaller teams and discussing. So what I want to do is put you into some breakout rooms for just a moment. It won't be long, but we just want to give you a chance to connect together. Once you get into these breakout rooms, this is all part of the game experience, because every breakout room is going to have its own name. And you're going to need to remember what is the name of your breakout room. This will be your team name throughout the game. If you ever get logged off for whatever reason, please remember that team name. And when you come back from the breakout room, we're actually going to test you on it. You're going to have to type in your team name right into the phone there to let us know that you remember the team name, because it's incredibly important. So here's what we're going to do is we're going to put you into those breakout rooms. Just kind of make sure, again, that you write down the team name or ask somebody in the group when you're there. And once you get into the breakout rooms, we're going to introduce ourselves. Okay, I want you to just introduce yourself and tell others a couple things. What was your first paid job in your youth? First paid job. I can say that mine was lawn mowing and working on farms. I was working on farms from a little kid, and they paid me to do it. So there you go. What was your first paid job? We're going to give you about 7 minutes, maybe 5 to 7. It doesn't have to be too long, but we want to get you some time to connect, but also to know those names, from the breakout room. The person with the shortest surname starts, so it won't be Yagoda. Yagoda, you will not be starting, but I'm sure that there's some others who have shorter names than that. You're going to be the one that starts. And what we're going to do is during the exercise, we just kind of want to remind each other of those names. We may be able to send you a chat to do that, but we definitely want to make sure that you are remembering your team name. I don't know if I emphasize that. I might have emphasized that enough at this point. Remember the name of your breakout room. All right. We got some more people jumping in. We'll put them in the breakout rooms as they join. And let's go ahead and jump into a breakout room. Tomek, can you divide us up?
Of course. We are already divided, so I'm opening up the breakout rooms.
All right.
See you in a couple of minutes.
Breakout rooms open. Just go ahead and join in. All right, you'll be invited to join into a breakout room. Just go ahead, select it right there on the phone or your device. You're going to see those questions. What was your first paid job in your youth? You're going to give you about 7 minutes to do it. Person with the shortest surname will start, and just take a minute to get to know each other and remember those breakout rooms for when we come back.
Yes, so the number of participants really varies from 1 minute to another.
Yeah.
I've created 5 teams. But we'll see. Okay, I think I will go through the rooms and write the name of the group on the chat. That's fine. But as I will be away, there are still people joining. So if you want to do it, you can add them to the rooms with least amount of participants.
Sure.
But it really changes like every second.
Yeah. All right. I know some of you are just joining us, just jumping in. What we're doing is we're playing an experience. It's really a game called The Collectors. And we have divided groups into breakout rooms. And right now they're in a moment of discussion. So we're kind of has a moment of pause here on the main session as they're talking about different things. In order to really experience the game, our hope is that you're joining us to experience the game. As I told the other group, it's much more fun to play than to listen to me. But what we'd encourage you to do is jump onto a phone or some other web browsing device, a tablet or your computer, and just go to Asobi. You can see it on my screen there at the top of that screen I'm sharing. It says asobi.mobi. And just put in that code ISAGA, put in the code ISAGA. And if you could do that, we would love for you to be able to play this game, this experience. The game itself isn't that long. We do a little bit of conversations along the way. So what I'd love for you to do, if you're able, jump onto asobi.mobi and use that code ISAGA. The groups right now are talking, getting to know each other. And part of that experience is for us as facilitators to be able to know what groups people are in and to make sure that the teams for the game are actually divided fairly. So part of our strategy for getting people talking in those breakout rooms is to really just help navigate the game experience itself. All right, as we're going to do this, I understand that this is a different group than sometimes we're used to. We do this with a lot of companies, different organizations that are dealing with remote or hybrid working challenges. One of the reasons that this game was developed was to kind of help address that challenge. How do we communicate across silos or across distance and space? How do we conduct meetings within the context of a Zoom meeting, a hybrid experience. And so really the game itself, like any simulation game, is designed to simulate something. And what we're simulating is really the experience of the hybrid and remote working. So right now, teams are in their breakout rooms. They're discussing, getting to know each other. And in just a moment, we're going to get the instructions for the game, and we're going to go through the experience itself. So we're going to give them just a moment to finish off their conversations. If you'd like to join the game, as I mentioned, go to asobi.mobi and use that code ISAGA that you see at the top of the screen. It might get annoying because I'm repeating that quite a bit for this group, because we have quite a few people that are constantly jumping in and joining us. But I do want to draw your attention to it. So if you hear me repeat that 100 times, don't get upset with me. It's just, don't kill the messenger. So asobi.mobi, ISAGA is the code. That's the only way to play the game. Otherwise, you're just here to listen. And as I already told the group, it's more fun to play than to listen to me. So, all right, we're going to give them about 2 more minutes. In about 2 minutes, we're going to be breaking. We're going to pull them back from the breakout rooms, and then we're going to get into that gaming experience. One of the challenges that they have right now in their breakout rooms is they have to remember the name of the breakout room they're in. When they come back, the name of those breakout rooms is actually their team name, and that's how our algorithm will determine what points go where, who scores points for what team. So they're going to have a slide to kind of vote on their names of the team, and that's going to help us know what teams are winning, what teams are ahead. Multiple ways to play this game. Part of it is that competitive spirit of competing with other groups. And there's also other ways to do it, including having a joint score so that we can kind of have a bigger picture as to really working towards a bigger vision. And how do we do that across different silos, if you will, or across departments or organizations, especially again in this kind of remote context where information has to be more intentionally shared than perhaps a few years ago. All right, Tomek, in about 1 minute, let's go ahead and close those breakout rooms so that at 6:30, yeah, there we go. 6:30, we can pull people back. Tomek, you're muted, my friend.
Thing I have to tell you is that in 2 of the rooms, or 3, there's no one active. Like,
okay,
no one. So I think we have to find a way to get a list of people that really want to play.
Here's what I would say, Tomek. Let's just take it through the experience. You know, let's just play it as it is, and it'll just give a taste. I think the majority of people are here just to kind of get a flavor of the game. And so let's not focus so much on the scores or on the algorithms. Let's just kind of allow it to play out as it does.
All right.
All right. I think that'd be much easier than trying to figure out how these teams are going to work.
That's for sure.
All right. So let's go ahead and pull everybody back, and we'll explain that as we go.
The rooms are closed.
Okay. All right, welcome back. Okay, you had a moment to kind of connect with others in the groups. As some of you, the rooms were a little bit more quiet, as kind of you're here just to kind of observe and to listen. That's okay. That's okay with us, however you want to approach this experience today. What I want to do, though, is introduce you to the world of the Collectors. Okay, so the Collectors game is a simulation game that's really designed to simulate some of the opportunities and challenges of remote working. We're going to play it really just as is. One of the questions was, you know, who's going to be in what team? How many teams should we have? We've already divided you out. We'd love for you to be able to join and participate. In order to do that, just log into that. As I mentioned at the top of my screen share, it says asobi.mobi. Use that code ISAGA. Makes the gaming experience much more exciting. If you choose just to listen, that's okay. We're just going to play it as it is. And so please, if you can remember the name of your breakout rooms, that's going to be coming up on the next slide. So here we go. In a moment, I'm going to switch this slide in just a second. And on your phone, please remember the name of that breakout room and type it in. Here we go. Now you're going to notice there on your phone, which auction house or team do you represent? Go ahead, put that in. I'm going to give you just a moment to kind of go through it. Enter that name in, and that's going to divide you into those teams. We've already got 3 people who have voted. 4 has been coming in. 5, they're all coming in now, and this is just going to make sure that we assign you to the correct team. Give it just a moment for people to be able to type those in. Asobi.mobi, and use that code ISAGA. Okay, I've got 7. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to advance. There's 8. Okay. I want to give it just a second on this slide because this is actually an important slide. It's one of the reasons why we need people to remember those names, just to kind of help divide up the teams. And it is the opportunity for people to join the game who really want to. All right. So I'm just going to give it another moment and we're going to move on. All right. We've got about 8 participants. And so here we go. Welcome to the world of the collectors. All right, for those of you who are playing, we're glad you're a part of this. And what I want to do is just show you a video that's going to help explain those rules. And so you're going to notice the video played not only on my screen, but it should be on your phones or your iPads as well.
Welcome to the world of the collector's game. You are invited to take part in a treasure hunt, a very special treasure that can be found at all airports around the world. These treasures are suitcases, lost and forgotten pieces of luggage whose owners have never turned up to pick them up. These suitcases are what interests most people like you, the collectors, who look for suitcases as a source of a potential treasure. Your teams have been commissioned by the companies selling second-hand items on internet auctions. Your task is to collect suitcases that can be cashed in and exchanged for points later. Where can you find suitcases? You attend all possible sales of unclaimed baggage that passed through the airport security control services. Will a suitcase contain only clothes packed for a holiday? Maybe a piece of art. Jewelry, valuable electronic devices, or heirlooms worth a fortune. You can't imagine what passengers put in their luggage. Based on a strategy established within your team, you will have little time to decide which set of suitcases to choose from at each sale. After the sale at a given airport, you will have time to evaluate if the purchased suitcases are worth a fortune or you'd better change your strategy. However, you're not completely in the dark. Your airport contacts will give you a clue on what profit to expect when choosing certain suitcases. Competition is tough, as stakes are high. Have you boarded? I have some additional information for you. You are going to visit 3 airports in 3 different parts of the world. They are important transit hubs with hundreds of thousands of passengers passing by and even more pieces of luggage. Remember, the goal of each team is to gather the most points. Points can be scored for purchasing suitcases according to the scoring system presented at each airport. Before visiting the airport, you will have time to establish a strategy with your team, but you will have only a few seconds to make a decision. During the game, you will be informed who won the sale, but all the scores will be presented after the conclusion of each airport. Are you ready? Welcome on board of the collectors. It's time to fasten your seatbelts.
All right. So that'll kind of give you a little bit of an idea as to screen. Can you go ahead and jump us through to the next screen? And I'm going to give you the rules. Here are the rules for the game, just to kind of clarify. You've seen some of those rules popped up on the video itself, but here we go. As a team, your goal is to score the most points possible. All right, the goal of the team is to score the most points possible. You're going to visit 3 different airports, and there'll be 5 sales at each airport. Before visiting a new airport, the team will be informed about the scoring system, and they're going to have about 5 minutes to decide on a strategy. So you're going to be put into those breakout rooms again, and as a team, you're going to talk about your strategy in order to purchase the suitcases. Points are scored for the purchase decision according to the scoring system that'll be presented at each airport. And when we go into a new airport, we're going to give you the scoring system so that you know how to create and to develop those strategies. There will only be a few seconds to actually make the decision at each sale. So I'm going to put up on the screen the suitcases. You're going to have an opportunity to vote for them, and you're really only going to have a few seconds to do that. After each sale at the airport, you're going to know the results. We'll share them with you, and then we're going to allow you to have the full scores done at the very end of each airport. We want to do a quick test round for you. So what we're going to ask you to do is you're going to see 4 different suitcases here. Go ahead and vote on one of those. And this is just going to kind of allow you to get an idea of how the game works. So you're going to jump in here. All right. And we're going to give you just a few moments. Now, this is longer than I'll ever do this, okay? Because soon I'm going to be much faster. All right. And there we go. These were the results, okay? 1 vote for the blue. The green you can kind of see here. The yellow, we've got 3 votes, and then 1 vote for the red. So that's kind of how the game is going to work. This is just a test round, and soon it's going to go faster and faster. We're going to get ready to fly off to our first airport. The airport that we're going to go to is LAX. I don't know if you've been to Los Angeles, and we're going today. Okay, we're going to go over to Los Angeles, plenty of lost bags at LAX, and you're going to have a chance to purchase those and to see which ones were the most valuable. We're going to give you a moment in your breakout rooms to discuss your strategy, but here's what we're going to do.
Nate, there are questions, I think,
yeah.
from the Mieko wants to ask something.
Yes.
Yes.
The decision is by individual members or the team leader?
Okay, well, you can, that's one of the simulation parts of it, is you get to decide some of that within the context of your group. So you're going to go into your breakout room and you're going to be able to decide your strategy together. But when you come back, every individual will have to vote. So it's a little bit of a combination of both. In the group, you're going to create your strategy. And then when you come back, unable to really communicate well with your group, you're going to have to implement that strategy on your own and make sure that you implement the correct strategy that you agreed on in the group.
Thank
All right.
you. Yeah, thank you. It's very clear.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So here we go. This is just...
Next question by Marieke.
Okay.
Maybe I'm too soon, but one of the clues you gave was we're going to be tipped by connections on the airports we have. When do we get this tip and in what way?
I'm giving them to you actually right now. Actually, I am your connection to the airport.
Okay, super.
You're looking at him. So here's what I'm going to do is this is the scoring system for LAX. Okay, this is your tip right here. This is going to tell you what bags are the most valuable, and when you go into your strategy team, you're going to be able to figure out, okay, which ones do we want to purchase based on the scoring system that Nate, me, your contact at the airport, gave you. All right. Let me pause there. I'll go through these in just a second. I can't really see everybody because I'm kind of in the multiple screens. Is there any other questions that I could answer, or shall we experience it and then we can kind of figure it out as we go along? Okay, I'm going to take that as we've answered all the questions. Let me tell you, just as a side note, if you're familiar with simulation games, and this is one thing we always say at Pracovní Gier, the first round is designed to be a little bit confusing. It's designed to kind of create a little bit of that sense of, I don't know what's happening, because really that's even part of the simulation, if you would, we've been thrown into with remote working. Teams were thrown into these remote teams, distance working, and there was moments of confusion. And how do we clarify those together as a team? Let me go through this LAX scoring system, and then we're going to put you into those teams to determine your strategy. Yellow suitcases. If you vote for a yellow suitcase, it's going to be worth 5 points. A green suitcase, each one is worth 15 points. All right, a red suitcase, each is worth as many points as many red suitcases the team chooses in total. And then the blue suitcases, each is worth 20 points if you choose 6 or fewer. Each is worth 10 points if you end up selecting more than 6. Okay, so this is really that scoring system, and we're going to put you into the groups. And I'd like to keep this screen up so that as you're in your groups, you can look at this scoring system and kind of create your strategy. Are we going to go with just red suitcases? Will some people pick yellow and others pick green? How are you going to divide that out as a team? Perhaps you'll all go with just yellow. We're going to find out, and let's put them all into the breakout rooms now, Tomek, and give them just a moment to create their strategies together before we come back together for the voting round.
All right, I'm opening up the rooms.
All right, go ahead and join those breakout rooms as they pop up and begin working together as a team to create that strategy. right. A couple people are just joining us. Disha, welcome. For those of you who are joining, please just allow me to explain where we're at, what we're doing right now, because I know that sometimes when you jump into a moment, it can be hard to catch up. What we're doing is a game called The Collectors. The Collectors is an online simulation experience that we do for teams and team building. It's really designed to simulate the challenges and the opportunities of hybrid working. We put people into both breakout rooms, which are kind of smaller groups, and then we bring them back into more of a corporate or a company setting where they have to make decisions. They're going to have to make decisions that they've already created a strategy on in the breakout room. So really the simulation game itself here is simulating the challenges of communication, of implementing a vision, doing it independently when you're not connected with the team, having that kind of common goal, the common vision, and really it simulates some of those challenges and dynamics. Right now, you're at the beginning of the first round. The first round I've just put up on my screen share, which you can see are how each suitcases are valued. And the teams now have to select a strategy or develop a strategy that's going to get them the most points possible. We're going to be bringing them back in just a moment, and they're going to go through 5 different auctions at the LAX airport. These 5 auctions go very quickly. It's a time constraint, which is part of the pressure of implementing the decisions. And so what they're going to do is experience those fast decisions of implementing the strategy that they created. And we're going to go through 5 different auctions. At the end, the scores will be presented, so they're going to kind of know where they stand, where they are in the standing. And then we're going to go to another airport. At the next airport, you're going to notice the scoring system will be slightly different. Okay, so every scoring system is different at each airport, and they have to create new strategies every time they go. So a lot of this is going to be critical thinking. It's going to be a lot about communication, implementing strategies, and really how do we do that through a remote context. It's a fun game to not only play, but also to debrief afterwards. Pracovní gier, our passion really is creating conversations. And so this gives us a lot of opportunities to help teams navigate some of the challenges they've been experiencing, including as simple as how efficient are we at conducting meetings on Zoom, who's kind of the leader of the teams, who kind of comes up. And this is obviously a unique experience because we're not working with one company. Many times with Coca-Cola or other companies, we're focused really just with their managers, their leaders, or teams. And so it's a little bit more of a clear debriefing, but we are glad you're able to experience this, and honestly happy to have your feedback when we're done, because I know you, like us, are quite passionate about games as well. All right. Tomek, can we invite people back, and we're going to jump right into those auctions. I think they've had plenty of time. We're going to give them about 30 seconds, I think, to close off their discussion, and then they're going to be thrown right in here to their first auction.
All right.
If you would like to follow along with us, you'll notice that we're using a program called Asobi. Asobi is really how the game is run, and you can join kind of seeing it on your phone or a web browser by going to asobi.mobi. Type that into the browser, and then you can use that code ISAGA at the top. All right, welcome back. I know that you've enjoyed some time developing your strategies. I know that you know exactly what you're going to do. So now all you have to do is implement. And here we go. We're going to jump into our first auction coming right up. LAX sale number 1. We've already given you an opportunity to experience it. You've tested it in the test round, and now you're going to play it out, implement the strategies. I'm going to give you a few seconds, really, to be able to make the decisions, and then the sale will be closed. So here we go. You've got 6 seconds left. Go ahead, put in those votes as quickly as possible. 2, 1, going once, going twice, and sold. All right, here's our results. jump on over here. This was the scores after sale one. I told you I'd be fast. Now I did give you a little extra time, but we've got 1 green, all right, or I'm sorry, 2 greens, 3 that have voted for the red. Here we go, yellow, here we are. We're gonna jump into the sale number 2. You kind of get the idea. Implement your strategies. You've already, okay, here's our point system, which we said we'd give you after each score, after each sale. And here we go. Here's sale number 2. All right, get ready, because as I mentioned, it does go fast. All right, here we go.
Oh.
All right, going once, going twice, and sold. All right. Let's go ahead and see how we did. Here's the votes that came in. You can kind of see those put up there on the screen. And here's our scores. So 90 points came in.
Wow.
2 teams. Nice job. Atut and Era, you both scored 90. 39 for Dima coming in at the end.
Mieko, we are doing great.
Here we go. Ready? Cell number 3. Go ahead and vote for your suitcases. And there we go. There's our results. Trying to be fast. And here's our scores for that. All right. Ah, Dima jumps up there.
Yoo-hoo.
All right, here we go. Los Angeles sale number 4. And go. All right, we've got some votes that have come in. Here we are. These are our scores after sale number 4. Yellow suitcases are 4. All right, here we go. And here we are. Here's the scores for those written out.
Yeah.
Wow, 124 for Etta. Well done. All right. And here's sale number 5. Jump on in there, put in those votes. Going once, going twice, sold. All right. All right, well done. It looks like blue's got the most votes on that. And here's our scores, 100 points for Atut. Taking the lead. Now, what we're going to do is show you the total scores for that sale after airport 1.
Woo!
Right now is at the top with 374. All right, Sero, you're down towards the bottom, but there's plenty of time to catch up. We're not too worried. All right, here we go. This is going to be the next airport. We're going to head over to Dubai. Okay, Dubai, we got you first class tickets, so don't worry about that. It's going to be a nice flight. And during that flight, you're going to be able to have time to create your strategy before you land. So as you're talking, enjoying some champagne in first class, develop your strategy. And this is going to be kind of your contact to the airport, helping you understand the scoring system. In Dubai, you're going to notice that things are a little bit different. Each yellow suitcase is worth 3 points. Green suitcases are worth 20. Red suitcases, each is worth as many points as many red suitcases the team chooses in total. And then your blue suitcases, each is worth 30 points. If there are 6 or fewer, each is worth minus 10 points if you select more than 6. All right, so here we go. We're going to put you into the teams now. The meetings and teams will start here. And there's your scoring system. And so let's go ahead and create those strategies. And we'll see you in just a few moments. All right. Tell you what, while they're in the breakout rooms, creating their strategy for the next airport, I know we've got different people who are joining in. Some of you are just listening in the background. If you do have any questions, we can almost create our own breakout room right here. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions about the game, about the experiences we've had leading it. If you just want to sit quietly, that's perfectly okay with me, but we can always take advantage of our time if we need to. I know you're here to kind of learn and develop in these different areas. So you don't have to feel like you need to be quiet in this room.
Most of the people that are joining in, I'm trying to put into breakout rooms anyway.
That's fine. I think, Tomek, we can probably close out those breakout rooms. Go ahead and start up our next round.
All right, in about 20 seconds, they're gonna be here.
Sounds great. All right, teams are coming back. everything's closing out here, and we're going to go into the next sale. All right, the next sale, we're in Dubai right now, and you've already seen the scoring system here. And you've created your strategy. So we're going to go ahead, jump right into the experience, and here we go. Dubai Airport, sale number 1. Get ready to vote quickly because the seconds tick away fast. All right, here we go. Time left 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, going once, going twice, and sold. And here are our results. Okay, you can kind of see how the votes came in, and this is the scores right now. A toot at 99. All right, Seto, 89, and then Dima way down there at 21. All right, here we go. Here's sale number 2. And let's put in those votes. And 0 seconds left. So sold, and here we go. So there you can see how the votes came in. And now let's go ahead and check out the scores. 159 on that sale. All of these will be totaled at the end and give you your total points for this airport. Here we go. Sale number 3. Go ahead, put in those votes. 3, 2, 1, and 0. All right, these are our results. You can kind of see those as they've come in. Here are the scores. All right, a 2 heading up. And number 4, we lost Dima. Didn't get that in quite fast enough. All right, here we go. Sale number 4. Go ahead, throw in those votes. You can see them coming in just a moment, but go ahead, put them in, implement that strategy you talked about as a team. And there we go. There's our results. All right. I see a little bit of discouragement. You go this phase.
Oh, no.
All right. Here we go. And these are our scores there. After that one, Seto came up to 204. Dima, okay, redeeming some space from the last sale. Second place.
Yes.
Here we go. All right, here's our total scores then. Sale 5, here we are. Go ahead, put in those sales. This is the last one for this airport, and we're going to give you the totals. All right, 2, 1, and 0. All right. There you can see the votes that have come in, and here are our scores on it. Dima, we lost you again. All right. And here we go. These are our total scores. Total scores right now after airport 2. All right. Toot, you're way in the head at 1,158, followed by Era and Dima, who is trailing behind. All right, here we go. I'm going to drop you into Singapore next. We're going to fly over to Singapore, not too far away from some of you. Airport number 3, Singapore, and here is the scoring system. Every yellow suitcase is worth 7 points. Green suitcase is worth 15. Red suitcase, each is worth as many points, as many red suitcases the teams choose in total. And then your blue suitcases, each is worth 40 points if it's 6 or fewer. Each is worth minus 10 points if you select more than 6. That's the scoring system. We're going to put you into the breakout rooms where you're going to decide your strategy. You'll be able to see on your mobile device what the scoring system is. On the browser there, go ahead, let's open up those breakout rooms. We'll give you a few moments to discuss your strategy. All right, let's go ahead and close out the breakout rooms.
All right. They're closed. 30 seconds.
Thank you, my friend.
Sure.
My grandmother would say, "You're a gentleman and a scholar." She'd always tell me that. "Oh, you're a gentleman and a scholar."
She seems like a nice lady.
Yeah, she had her moments. Nah, she's great. She's wonderful. She's crazy, but she's wonderful. All right, welcome back, everybody. Come on in. Okay, you've got your strategies, and here we go. We're going to be going into this third and final airport. You've already seen the scoring system, so here we go. Welcome to Singapore. You've got 7 seconds. Go ahead and implement those strategies, put those votes in. Give you just a second here. I see they're all coming in quickly, and here's the results. All right, you can see where the votes came in, and here's the scores for them. All right, a toot, you got 108, zero, and then at the bottom. Here we go, sale number 2. Let's go ahead and put in those votes. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go. Let's see how it comes in. One of the nice things about this screen here is it tells you, are we implementing our strategy or who screwed up? All right, here we are. These are the points. All right. And now we go into sale number 3. All right, there we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here's our scores. Let's see those come in here.
Oh no.
So, someone didn't like the strategy being implemented. All right, here we go. Here's our actual scores, points that have come in. All right, let's jump over to sale number 4. 6, there we go. Going once, going twice, going 3 times, and sold. Here's our choices, the selections that were made, and here are the points that were given for those selections. All right, well done.
Does the number of participants in groups change from round to round?
Yeah, you'd almost think so. All right, here we go. Sale number 5. This is our final sale. Go ahead, put those in. Our final sale, the final airport. So go ahead and put them all in quickly as possible. And here we are. These are our scores. All right. And these are our results. Points that came in. Ooh, Seto and Etta tied at 206.
Yoo-hoo.
And congratulations. That's the end. Now we're going to give you the total scores here. Add it up. But let me ask you a couple of quick questions. What was your first reaction after the game? All right, you're going to be able to see some options here, and you can put those in. Okay, go ahead. We did it so close. All right, there we go. We got some. We rock. All right. Here's our final results. These are the final scores that came in. Toot, you came in the lead. When we totaled up all of those points from each of the sales at each of the airports, 2,010 points. Okay. Seto, you came in at 1,899 points. And then Dima, there's a couple of sales you missed out on at 1,057 points. All right. Here's some questions that I wanted to ask you just based on the decision process within your teams. As you kind of were strategizing together, how did you determine which suitcases you'd buy? Did you focus more on the possible profits, on the possible losses, or was there another criteria that you had used? All right. Majority of you going on the possible profits. One on another criteria. I'd love to hear what that criteria was, if you're willing to share. What kind of criteria did you use in making your decision? A couple of you. All right. Okay. There's a few different strategies that are pretty popular within the context of the collectors. Different teams, different companies do different things, and here are probably the most common that we see. It's quite rare that there's a yellow strategy where people are selecting just the yellow suitcases. It definitely gives you profit. There's really no loss to it, but you really don't gain much. The green suitcases seem tempting as they're a good offer. Not the highest though, but they're safe. Another strategy that could have been used is players who want to maximize the blue suitcases, all right, within the limits. Some teams quickly realize that it's worth choosing all in red strategy, providing that each team member does it because otherwise the profit is small. All right. And then at airports 2 and 3, many times teams are afraid to cross the limit of the blue suitcases. And so they kind of give up the choice. However, it is impossible to give it up entirely. So it's not possible to really not select any of the blue suitcases. And at airport 3, the choices are usually divided among all of the possible answers, including the yellow suitcases. Here's a question for your teams. After agreeing on the actions for the round, how did your team function? Everyone knew what to do and they stuck with the arrangements, kind of the strategy. There were some mistakes that were made in the process, or we kind of all just did whatever we wanted and nobody really actually stuck to the decisions. All right.
It's a difficult question. We don't know because we had some silent voters.
Yes. Yeah. All right. There's some questions relating to the leadership aspect. How was the teams working in those smaller groups? As leaders kind of rose to the top, kind of revealed themselves throughout the game, a few different options. We had one apparent leader who kind of controlled it all and kind of made the actions and decisions. We had a leader who changed throughout the game, different rounds. We made the decisions as a team, and it was difficult to really assign one specific leader. It was creative chaos. Nobody actually knew what was going on, or I haven't seen such a mess for a long time. Fortunately, we don't have any of the other two at the end there, but it seems like the majority really made those decisions together as a team. And these are great conversations to have even in the breakout rooms when we're doing this with companies. How were decisions made? Conversations about clearly communicating. These are just a leadership aspect. Let me ask you this next question here. What was your approach to collaboration? You can use those kind of sliding scales. I trusted that other team members would engage in the game and do their best. Wanted to control the choices made by the team. And I was engaged during the game itself. All right, you can kind of see how those play out. All right. All right, here's what I'm going to do as those are kind of coming out, eight votes. I'll move on here. You can kind of see those results. Your behavior during the game, kind of give us some insight into how you operated as an individual. I actively participated and I set a strategy, proposed some of the solutions. I adjusted really to the decisions of others, kind of able to do whatever they wanted. I questioned decisions made by others. I made decisions my own way. Yeah, those votes are kind of coming in. The active participation, definitely the highest of the four. One of the thoughts that I've even had as we play this game, kind of simulating just some of the challenges, because remember, this is not just a game, it's actually a simulation game. And one thing we love to do is simulate the challenges. One thought that I've had is sending secret messages over to certain players and asking them to kind of work against the team. So send somebody and have them be a disagreeer within the context of the small group, somebody else who just kind of goes their own way, and just kind of see what dynamics end up happening within the team itself. You notice something about me. For me, the scoring is not nearly as important as really that team dynamic, the conversations that are happening. So I really don't mind messing with the scores as long as we kind of create some conversation. What was your biggest challenge during the game? To trust that others would engage, to really get engaged myself, to engage others, or just not get lost in the chaos?
The one option that is not present here and we faced in our team was actually to know who is playing, because
Yeah, exactly.
because some people were joining, then they were gone, then they were joining again. It's like the remote world. Someone is on the meeting, disappears, and you don't know if he will stick to the to the things we agreed on. Very interesting.
It's part of the
this-
chaos.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, with all of the people kind of jumping in, joining in, that was definitely a unique challenge in this experience.
Yeah, but I imagine it's a real challenge of virtual teams when you have someone in the meeting. He is until some part, and then he or she says, "Okay, I have to go to another meeting. Sorry."
Yeah.
And then disappears, and you don't know if he or she remembers the strategy, and
That's
then
right.
it turns out he or she doesn't, and it influences the performance, the real actual points you get as an organization or team.
That's absolutely correct. All right, let me create some discussion. What I kind of prefer to do actually is to not put those discussions in the small groups. I know that there is kind of a large group here on the call, but really it's actually a small group of people that have been engaged in the game itself. So let's just keep everybody here instead of going into the smaller breakout rooms. And what we love doing after the game, especially for the different global companies, is getting them talking and engaged in smaller discussion teams. And we talk about different things. We give them about 10 minutes, and they can talk about collaboration, and they'll kind of answer two real questions here. What was the most significant challenge for smooth remote collaboration? And then what really helped you to improve that collaboration? Instead of going into the small groups, let's just talk about it right here. What were some of those challenges that you experienced for smooth remote collaboration, and then what really helped you as you played through the game?
I see Heide wanting to say something.
I think the uncertainty, especially in the first rounds, not to know like how the sale really works and how many suitcases there would be in total, and all these game elements that are uncertain. And the time pressure I found mainly challenging, and it helped me to know Marike and Gertje, to be honest, to make decisions. Because we didn't have to form a team, like it was easy to communicate and to make decisions together.
Oh, you had a Dutch team. Yeah, interesting. And who was because you were in one team, me and Mieko were in the second team, and we had also sometimes I don't remember the Indian name. Jin, someone, a nice person helping us with some decisions in one round. But basically we were two, and that was also frustrating because we know we cannot make so many points as you.
Yeah.
Who is the third team or the fourth? Is there anyone who can say who is the one that won?
That was us.
That was you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
We were very close after you.
It was also won by luck, partly, I think. We had an advantage. We knew each other, so we have collaborated before, more or less, and so that didn't cause any frustrations in the negotiation process on the strategy. So we could really exchange the information we had quickly and decide how we would deal with that. But that we had a head start because of that.
And I think it's also a very important factor in real life when people they collaborate remotely well. If they have the standards set before in real life. I mean, it's also real life, but offline. That's something very important.
Yeah, that's right. What I'd like to do is ask you this question here. What was the most important challenge related to this collaboration online? And then what really helped you kind of diminish it? I think we've talked about it a little bit, but this was kind of a unique experience for us today. And so what was it as kind of the biggest challenge for you?
In our
Yes, please. No, I have a feeling that we had a clear strategy, but it didn't work well. So we noticed that, but it's hard to change the strategy in a short period of time. Yeah,
that's right.
We could not communicate during the sales because we've seen we are only two and we're not. There's no one else helping us, and actually we should have changed the strategy but when realizing it, but we couldn't. And this difficulty of communicating when you're doing your job and you cannot change, that was very interesting.
Yeah. I see some of the answers that have already come up, at least one of them here. Very difficult to plan anything when someone's not communicating in the group. I could completely understand that. That would be a challenge.
But the question, what helps you diminish this challenge? What helps you overcome it? Did we overcome it somehow?
Probably if we can communicate each other somehow, but we cannot do that. And if we have offline relationship beforehand, maybe we can guess or we can imagine how you think or how you accept kind of things. But it's difficult because it's the first time meeting for us. So we need more communication. That's my hope.
More communication and more rounds to go.
Yeah. Let me jump over here. Just based on your experience today, those of you who have played, how did you experience the game itself? All right, I can see those coming in here. All right. What I'd like to do is, this is kind of really the conclusion of the game experience itself, and in more of a company setting, the conversations go in different directions, really working through the team building side. I'm going to stop sharing my screen kind of come back so I can see people a little bit easier. And we're just going to kind of close out our time by just opening it up for you to really kind of share maybe some of the side applications you've seen of the game, maybe questions that you have about the game, how it also has been used in other ways. If there aren't any questions, then we can kind of close out our time and you can go refill coffee or whatever it is that you need to do. But let's just go ahead and open it up now for just a time of questions relating to the game itself and the experience that we've done with other companies. Yes, go ahead.
And I want to compliment you first on designing this game and also the way you facilitated it. I really enjoyed that. I saw some very good things happening. I find it a very interesting game, a very challenging game. Also the layout and how you do it's perfectly designed. So compliments, many compliments. Okay, you get that. Secondly, I'm thinking about how to improve agency. Because the fast pace of the game flow sometimes doesn't give you enough feedback to respond to. And that lowers my immersion and agency because I get to thinking and get a bit frustrated about that dynamic that causes. Two things you can easily do to change that without designing the whole anew. Because you shouldn't, it is valuable as it is add more time for reflection. So we just feel more time for reflection. Just add 5 minutes. Even adding 5 minutes can allow us for much more discussion. We were a fluent team, but if you're not, you need more time for discussing. And then you have more agency and also more reflection time. Maybe you can subdivide it in reflection time and preparing time. So you have after the gameplay, first you have reflect with showing the results and then the talk in between, and then start the game with the pre-reflection, and then you get more learning out and more agency. And I would also urge to in between reflect on process discussion. So for the women who are not always for the profit, it's a very overall generalization I'm explaining now, but people that don't go for profit that much also get in their ways, so they can reflect on the process. How are we doing as a team? Does everyone feel well? Do you feel part of the team? What can we improve on process level next time? This also comes from really Krit's research, the longitudinal 10-year research, and also from my personal research, that adding these factors increases the learning. I can't show you the statistics, but not now. So if you would just add extra reflection time also on the process level, that really could jump the agency, immersion, and the outcome.
Thank you. That's exactly why I wanted to open these up for the discussion, is to hear that, to hear those kind of feedbacks, and those are valuable insights. Let me kind of ask you a question then, kind of specifically relating to the reflection. When you're referring to the reflection, is this in your experience kind of done best with the conversations that are had? And I think you kind of mentioned just kind of extending more of that time for conversation, or is there other ways that you might also encourage the reflection to take place?
Ideally, and also Mieko done research after this, and a couple of other research I know around the world, Yuri van Laren as well. And what I found, and I don't know, I think Mieko uses also some structured reflection. So if you just leave reflection, it's too open. So you need to pre-structure with some questions, as you did sometimes in this exercise already. So you pre-structure. Normally you could use what went well, what will not go so well, what do you need from yourself or from others to improve. But you can make those questions more specific, but that's on a very generic level. And if you would do it ideally to get up the German load, and German cognitive load, you would use a short individual reflection, then a group reflection, then a central reflection. So you get the best learnings out sifted on top.
That's good. That's good.
And you can do it very shortly. It sounds like a long process, but it isn't. You can do it in the personal reflection in 2 minutes, or maybe 1, then the group reflection in 5, and then the central reflection in another 10. So in 15 minutes, you have the best learnings out. Maybe you can make it shorter if you use your application you have with the voting.
Nate, I'm getting a message from the organizers that we have 2 minutes to go.
Okay, perfect.
There's
I will
something,
shut up.
but that's so valuable, Marika.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you shared that.
Mhm.
I totally agree with Marika.
Great. All right. Well, that's wonderful. It's great feedback to have that'll help us even as we design this experience for others. So I appreciate it. They've given us a 2-minute warning. So allow me to just kind of close this off by saying thank you for allowing us to be a part of the experience today, to be a part of the ISAGA experience. I hope that you enjoyed it. I know that those of you who have played, as I mentioned, it's probably more fun to play than it is to just listen. But I do appreciate all of those who have just listened and kind of been a part of the experience. And I hope that you're all taking out a little something valuable. I know we are, thanks to the reflections that we were given, feedback, ideas. So have a wonderful experience over the next day and a half or so. And we will look forward to connecting up with you again in the future, I'm sure. But we'll close off our time here. Have a wonderful day. And thank you again for allowing us to be a part of the ISAGA experience. All right. Feel free to log off and join the next session. Take care.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Yabuda, Jonah, and Philip, Nathan, for the part of this conference. Thank you very much.
Our
Thank
pleasure.
you very much for hosting us.
Okay. And request you all of you to join the next session roundtable. Link is available on ISAGA2021.com and also sent on your email ID.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we close the hosting now?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we go for Teams, Nate, Joanna, and Tank? Yeah.
Yes.
15 minutes.